Thanks everyone for joining me for this special behind the scenes look at the making of my video for the Code Red in celebration of my channel reaching 1,000 subscribers. While we can all debate which came first, the chicken or the egg, when it comes to making a ball video, it definitely all starts with the ball. Staffers get access to the balls 2 to 3 weeks in advance so we can become familiar with what the ball does and test it out so that we can more accurately answer questions. Yes, it's a perk of the job, but the real reason is so that we can help you make the best choices possible on layouts, surfaces, or even if that ball is going to be right for you in the first place, so that you're ready when release day arrives. We start by going through half a grease pencil to mark the lines to drill by. This one got my favorite layout, of course, and then it's off to the drill press. After naturally splitting the lines on the ruler in half, my span actually measures to a 32nd, sniff sniff. We do some finishing touches and the ball is ready for action. Pro tip, don't forget to buzz or bevel those fingers before gluing the grips in to reduce the likelihood of chipping and consequently perhaps cracking. Next, we assemble the team and set up the camera. This video is a lot of fun to film because the balls I'm using are also good it feels like cheating, but the good news is you can use them too. Hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge. Now the camera position is pretty important here. I've got the camera back off the approach and I zoom in because if anyone has seen some of my older videos, the picture will wobble or shake whenever a ball comes back on the return or whenever I release it due to the vibration on the approach. So putting the camera back on the tile prevents the vibration, and I think the zoom actually makes for a better picture anyway. Once all settings are adjusted and I like where it's set up, I get to bowl until I feel like I've got enough quality shots to make a video. As anyone who is in film will likely tell you, the editing is the most time-consuming but ultimately most rewarding part of the ordeal. It takes quite a bit of prep work and a pretty good knowledge of all the tricks you have at your disposal depending on the software. Now, I still don't know what 90% of this thing is capable of yet, but I make bowling videos, not Transformers movies, so as long as the footage I got came out good, it's typically just a lot of cutting and piecing together. Rarely will I have to use any effects to fix something or pretty it up. For this video though, the lighting came out a little dark, so I brightened it. I also zoomed in a bit and centered it better. For the Storm intro and outro graphics, Storm's technical director Chad McLean actually built those and was kind enough to let me use them, so thanks once again to Chad for those. They really give the videos much more of a professional feel. Storm's website is also a great resource for the pictures in the video and the thumbnail or the tile you see when you find my video on YouTube. With the 360 view feature on their website, you can actually turn the ball or the core until it's in a position you like and then right-click and save that picture for use in a video. For anyone who saw my timeless and torrent videos, that's how I made the ball and core motion section. It's just an assembly of all the pictures overlapped to create the motion. Once I have all my pictures and videos assembled, I will write my script and record my audio. For those interested, I use a Blue Yeti microphone, been extremely happy with it. Fun fact here, I used to create the video first and then talk over top of it without writing anything down and reading what I was going to say. Safe to say that was an absolute disaster and led to hours of frustration when I'd either trip over my words, forget what I was going to say, or get the timing wrong or something. I try to avoid it sounding like I'm reading words off a screen, but hey, that's what's happening, so sorry, it's just kind of a necessary part of the deal. Now, once I get the audio done, I'll place it into the editing timeline after I get the intros set, and will then add the ball motion videos to the timeline as well. I click around until I find a shot I want to add into the video. I'll find where I want it to start, I'll put the marker there, click trim start, which removes the video prior to that point, and then use my second monitor to watch the shot in action. Then I'll decide where to end it, and we'll split that shot into its own little section. Then it's really just a process of repeating that several times until I have enough video sections to match the length of the audio portion that I recorded. I don't have a targeted length for my videos. I just open a Word document, I type what I want to say about the ball, and when I'm done, however long that ends up being is just how long the video ends up being. Once I've finished cutting and piecing everything together, I'll start at the beginning of the video and watch it from beginning to end to make sure everything looks the way I want it to. Once I'm satisfied, I click render and just wait for the software to do its magic. When the video's done, I watch the finished product to make sure there weren't any rendering hiccups. Sometimes that does happen, but if all is well, it gets uploaded. I set all my information in YouTube as far as tags and settings go to make sure the information's there, and you can find my video when you search for it or see it pop up in your subscriptions or on my video list. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but here is the finished product.
Hi, and thanks for joining me once again for another video review. This one is for Storm's new stateside release, the Code Red. Now, like the Code Black, it was originally released to their overseas market in 2014, but thankfully it's been released here as well. In terms of ball reaction, the Code Red acts exactly like what you would expect. It's got the R2S hybrid cover stock on it, perhaps known better as the high road cover, on the much stronger Rad 4 core. It rolls and revs up much sooner than the high road does, and for me is smoother on the back end. Now, generally with a higher differential comes a stronger back end move as the ball is flaring more, but with the high road's RG being much higher than that of the Code Red, its hook phase is much shorter, so you see more motion or shape on the back end with the high road versus the Code Red, where the hook phase is longer due to the strength and earlier revving of the core. Now, it still has a strong move on the back end, stronger for me than the Code Black, in addition to being 1 to 2 boards stronger than the Code Black and 3 to 4 boards stronger than the high road. My layout for the Code Red is my normal default, 65 by 5 1/4 by 40, which I also have on my high road, but I did order 2 of this ball and will most likely drill the second with the same angles but a 4-inch pin like I did with my Code Black. Remember, this is still a weaker cover than is on most balls with this strong of a core, so don't look at those core numbers and think you may have to kill it a bit with the layout. I actually quite like my Code Black with the 4-inch pin. The Code Red gets further down the lane and isn't as bouncy off the friction as it looks like it's going to be with as heavy as it rolls, and like the Code Black, there's a trust and familiarity you'll have to build with it, because once your eye is trained for the type of ball motion that you usually get out of big blocks like the Rad 4, which once again usually have stronger covers, it's odd to see ball motion that's tamer than you expect it to be based on how quickly the ball is revving. Not that the high road is capable of being over-under, but in circumstances where it's either too springy on the back end, as it can be rather sharp through the pins, or where the volume up front is too heavy for it to get enough traction to shape up well on the back end, the Code Red will control the mid lane better and give you a more proper motion through the pins while still giving you the overall feel and reaction of the high road. The Code Red releases here on June 16th. Thank you for choosing Storm.
Thank you very much to all my viewers and subscribers. The YouTube thing started for me 3-ish years ago, and at first you don't really know what you're doing. Views are hard to come by, but the more you do it, the more you figure things out, and if your videos are well received and are worthwhile, it eventually picks up steam. Now, 1,000 subs and 250,000 views might be called Tuesday for the bigger channels, but at one point they were where I'm at right now, and though I probably won't end up with 1 million subs and hundreds of thousands of views a day for a bowling channel, I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and the first 6 months of this year especially has shown some pretty substantial growth for the channel. So I hope to continue improving, and with all the support and the feedback, y'all are really helping a lot more than you know with how the channel is progressing and what I'm making and what I'm featuring. More and better things are coming, and it's already kind of quietly becoming a bigger thing than I thought it would when I started making the videos in the first place, so I'm pretty excited about where we can go from here. Thanks again to everyone for watching, for all the support, and as always, thank you for choosing Storm.